Welcome to 11 Recaps. If you enjoy this summary, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. It really helps me keep bringing you engaging content. Ready for your support? Awesome, thank you. Let's dive in. The narrative of the film unfolds in the year 1172, within the territories that are now known as the northwestern provinces of China, which were formerly part of the Tangut Kingdom, governed by the dynasty of the same name. This region was home to various Mongolian tribes, each led by their own chieftains, referred to as khans. The intense competition among these tribes, coupled with their insatiable thirst for power, led to numerous disputes, conflicts, and fatalities. In this lawless environment, the Mongols find themselves in dire need of a unifying supreme khan. Yasugai, the leader of a modest tribe in the west, is introduced at the film's outset. He embarks on a journey with his warriors and his 9-year-old son, Temujin, to seek a bride for the young boy. They pause for the night at a neighboring tribe's encampment to rest. While attending to his horse, Temujin encounters a girl named Bort, who inquires about his name. Temujin introduces himself and explains the purpose of their journey. Upon learning that he is in search of a bride, Bort boldly asserts that he should marry her. Although Temujin's father aims to secure a bride from a more powerful tribe for political reasons, he ultimately concedes to his son's wishes, permitting him to select a girl from their current tribe. Before making his choice, Temujin is advised to seek a girl with strong legs, as it is believed that only such a girl can ensure her husband's happiness. Following this guidance, Temujin selects Bort. Their union is formalized, but they must wait 5 years before they can be together. Before departing, Temujin vows to return soon and gifts Bort a necklace as a token of remembrance. On their return journey to their village, Yasugai and his men take a break near an inn, remaining vigilant due to the presence of a rival tribe's leader nearby. Unexpectedly, the opposing khan sends a bowl of milk as a gesture of peace. In response, Yasugai reciprocates with a bowl of juice. Yasugai's trusted advisor suggests that they should allow the servant to drink the milk first, as trust in their adversaries is tenuous. Yasugai is determined not to forfeit the chance for peace due to mistrust. He consumes the contents of the bowl completely, as does the other khan. Shortly thereafter, they resume their journey. However, just a few minutes later, Yasugai experiences severe chest pain. He collapses from his horse and passes away. It becomes evident that his adversaries exploited his goodwill and poisoned him. Young Temujin approaches his father, yet his followers show little concern. Tradition dictates that the people will only rally behind a formidable leader. With their leader deceased, their primary focus shifts to selecting a new khan rather than seeking retribution for the fallen one. In the subsequent scene, Temujin and his mother participate in Yasugai's funeral. Yasugai possessed numerous cattle and properties, which are seized by his trusted aide Targatai. Temujin's mother curses Targatai, vowing that her son will one day take his life. Targatai acknowledges the truth in her words and resolves to eliminate Temujin. However, when they assess Temujin's height, they find it does not reach the upper rim of a cartwheel. According to Mongolian customs, children are not to be killed, thus sparing Temujin's life. Nevertheless, Targatai vows to return the following winter when Temujin is expected to have grown taller. As winter approaches, Temujin finds himself without a refuge. He recalls his father's teachings about the god Tungri, who would assist him in dire times. Consequently, he sets out for the sacred mountain to seek solace at the holy site. On his journey, he inadvertently falls into a frozen lake and nearly perishes. Fortunately, he is saved by a boy of his age named Jamuka. Jamuka and his younger brother take Temujin to their home and provide him with sustenance. Temujin expresses his deep gratitude to the brothers for rescuing him from peril. In a gesture of profound loyalty, he proposes to Jamuka that they become blood brothers. They mix their blood in a bowl of milk and consume it as a testament to their commitment to one another. The following morning, they encounter Targatai and his followers, who are still intent on finding Temujin to eliminate him. They capture him and return him to their tribe. Fortunately for Temujin, his growth has not progressed significantly since their last encounter, necessitating his continued captivity until he matures. A compassionate elderly man tends to him daily, providing nourishment and care for his wounds. After several days, they assess his height once more, but there is no change. Suddenly, rain begins to fall, prompting everyone to seek shelter indoors. Seizing this moment, the old man liberates Temujin. The young boy flees as swiftly as he can, with the wooden plane still hanging around his neck. He ascends into the mountains and prays to the deity Tungri for assistance. In a miraculous moment, he spots a white wolf near the monument dedicated to the god, and shortly thereafter, the wooden plane is inexplicably shattered. The narrative then shifts to the year 1186. Temujin has matured into adulthood, yet he remains in flight from Targatai and his followers. After an extensive search lasting several years, they finally capture him and confine him within a similar wooden plane. This time, he has grown sufficiently to meet the height requirement, diminishing his chances of survival. Targatai desires to witness Temujin plead for mercy, but the proud young man steadfastly refuses to do so. Consequently, Targatai opts to inflict prolonged torture upon him rather than grant him a swift death. The elderly man who once aided Temujin continues to provide him with sustenance even now. Temujin pleads for his life when he returns to seek retribution for the treatment he has endured. As night falls, Targatai approaches Temujin alone, taunting him. Seizing the moment while others are preoccupied, Temujin retaliates and fatally strikes his adversary multiple times. Afterward, he escapes the village, finding safety once more. Temujin is determined to reclaim his tribe and ascend as Khan, but first, he must retrieve his bride. He visits his in-laws' tribe for the first time since he was 9 years old. Bort has matured into a strong and beautiful woman, though her legs are notably thick. She confides that she has been waiting for his return since their last meeting. Temujin receives a coat as part of her dowry and takes Bort with him. They visit his mother and sister after several years apart. The family welcomes them with open arms. For the following month, they experience the life they have always dreamed of. Temujin and Bort grow even closer as a married couple, but their happiness is disrupted when they are attacked by the Merkit tribe. Years prior, Temujin's father had abducted his mother from the Khan of Merkit, who had sworn vengeance and now seeks to take Bort from Temujin. The couple attempts to flee, but Temujin is struck by an arrow, and Bort is captured to become the wife of the rival Khan. Once Temujin recovers, he realizes he must rescue his wife, but he cannot do so alone. He turns to his old blood brother, Jamuka, who has become the Khan of a formidable tribe. Jamuka agrees to assist, but only after a year, as he is occupied with other matters. A year passes swiftly, and the two set out with their forces to confront the Merkit tribe. They defeat all the men and plunder the area, ultimately discovering a pregnant Bort in one of the huts. She has slain a man, whose lifeless body lies beside her. Temujin immediately asserts that the child is his and takes Bort back. That night, the troops celebrate their victory. Temujin has successfully amassed a considerable following. His followers request that he distribute the plundered cattle, and in contrast to most Khans, Temujin retains only 10% for himself, allocating the remainder to his troops. He even provides additional resources to the families of those who perished in battle. Two members of Jamuka's faction observe this and choose to align themselves with Temujin's tribe. Given that the Mongols have the autonomy to select their own Khans, Jamuka is powerless to intervene. However, it is clear that he perceives this as an act of treachery. In a subsequent event, Temujin's soldiers witness an individual attempting to steal their horses. They pursue him and inadvertently kill him, only to discover that the thief is Jamuka's younger brother. Following this incident, Jamuka resolves to eliminate Temujin, disregarding their blood relationship. He allies with another tribe to launch an assault on Temujin's forces. Aware that his men are significantly outnumbered, Temujin still sends the women and children to safety while urging the men to fight valiantly. Despite inflicting casualties on the enemy, Temujin ultimately finds himself captured. Jamuka, still referring to him as brother, implores him to plead for mercy. Reluctant to kill someone who retains both strength and dignity, Jamuka opts instead to enslave him and sells him to brokers. Temujin and the remaining members of his group are forced to march several miles through the desert to reach a city governed by the Tangut dynasty. Once there, they are displayed in the open market for potential buyers. One day, a high-ranking official from the dynasty visits the market and expresses interest in purchasing Temujin. However, his advisor, a monk, recognizes that Temujin is not suited for enslavement. He notes that Temujin lacks the robust physique typical of a slave and predicts that he could ultimately bring down the entire powerful dynasty. The buyer dismisses this warning with laughter and proceeds to purchase Temujin regardless. He is subsequently confined to a cage, treated as a spectacle for public amusement. The monk visits him daily, pleading for forgiveness. He strikes a deal with Temujin, promising to search for Bort in exchange for the preservation of the monastery when the time arrives. During his quest for Bort in the deserts, the monk collapses and dies. Fortunately, Bort discovers him and recognizes the necklace he wears as one she had cherished for many years. Realizing her husband is still alive, she travels to the city in search of him. As Temujin is prominently displayed to the public, Bort quickly locates him. That very night, she bribes a guard to facilitate Temujin's escape. He is astonished to see how much his son has grown and learns that Bort has a second daughter. Reluctantly, she had to be with another man to support her family and provide for her children. Temujin admires her even more for her sacrifices and tells the little girl that he is her father. The family of 4 returns to their rural home, where they enjoy a month of happiness together. The children adore their father and spend their days playing with him. However, one day, Bort remarks that all Mongols share the same traits. They steal, rob, and kill. Though her comment seems trivial, it profoundly impacts Temujin. He resolves to leave his family to unite as many tribes as possible and establish dominance in the Mongolian realm, even if it requires the destruction of half the tribes. The fundamental principles he sets forth are to never harm women and children, to fight enemies to the bitter end, and to remain loyal to one's Khan. The narrative shifts to the year 1196. True to his vow, Temujin has successfully assembled a formidable army of Mongols, uniting several tribes to form a powerful coalition. The only barrier to his ambition of becoming an absolute ruler is Jamuka, who commands a loyal following of his own. Today, the 2 brothers find themselves on the battlefield, leading their respective troops in a decisive confrontation. The battle commences, and Jamuka quickly dispatches the first wave of his forces. In contrast, Temujin has meticulously strategized for the conflict, while Jamuka's impulsive approach results in significant losses among his men. After enduring hours of intense combat, Temujin emerges victorious, capturing the remaining enemy soldiers, including Jamuka. Rather than executing them, Temujin integrates these troops into his ranks, fostering gratitude and loyalty towards their new Khan. The elder man who once aided Temujin's escape is appointed as the tribe's advisor. The final matter to address is the fate of Jamuka. The brothers engage in a conversation, reflecting on their journeys thus far. Jamuka expresses with pride that he would have executed his adversary had their roles been reversed. This statement underscores the differences between him and Temujin, as Temujin chooses to grant him freedom. Out of respect for his brother and acknowledgement of his efforts in building an army, Temujin forgives him and allows him to depart. Subsequently, Bort reunites with Temujin, bringing their children, and they live together in happiness. Ultimately, it is recounted that in 1206, Temujin was proclaimed the Khan of all Mongols, taking the name Genghis Khan. True to his word, he eradicated the entire Tengu dynasty and restored the kingdom, while preserving the monastery at the request of the deceased monk. In the years that followed, he established the Mongol Empire, which became the largest contiguous empire in history. It is also noted that he was renowned for his remarkable legs. For more engaging content, please subscribe, activate notifications, and like the video to support the channel. Thank you for your viewership.